This is the War Room with PMAC, presented by Chiefs Focus. On this show, PMAC and you provide you front office insight into crafting a championship caliber team for the Chiefs. They are identifying the right pieces to possibly meld together to lead to success this upcoming season.
What up, Chiefs Kingdom? What it do? This is the War Room with PMAC, where we are identifying and looking at different scenarios for this season, the 2020, I almost said 2023, the 2024 Chiefs season, to see what can be done so we can try our best to three-peat. We are a Chiefs Focus podcast, and that is my guy, P-Mac. What's going on? And I am you. What it do?
I'm good, Diz. How you doing, bro?
Man, I'm all right. Like I said, I'm kind of tired, but I'm all right, you know.
You and I both, man. These last 3 weeks, as you guys been missing us, man, been doing a lot of hard work. Me and Diz, man, we've been hard at work and doing a lot of stuff, and I've been doing a lot of things that I've discovered, which I am very happy about to discuss later in the show. But without that further ado, I want to thank everybody for joining us for episode 22 of the episode of the War Room with PMAC, presented by Chiefs Focus. I'm glad to be joined by you, Thiz. That's the letter U, not the
word. Yes, sir.
The letter U, like the U, Miami. So, I'm glad to be with you here, man. And, well, Chiefs Kingdom, hope everybody had a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday while we were gone. And also everybody's getting ready to enjoy the Christmas holiday. And we have 3 weeks, while the three weeks we were gone, the Chiefs have barely survived some games, trying to stay at the top of the AFC playoff picture. First, they barely survived against, the Panthers, week 12, 30-27. Then 2 Fridays ago, Black Friday, day after Thanksgiving, against the Raiders, 19-17. And they won against the Chargers last Sunday, 19-17, to secure the AFC West crown for the 9th straight season. And with 4 games left to go, we're going to get right into it, because there's a good chance with Kansas City still not locking up the number 1 seed with these 4 weeks to go. So without further ado, let's go to one of my favorite segments here, man, with the first one. That's news to me.
That's news to me. That's news to me.
That's news to me.
All right, so the Chiefs defeated the LA Chargers 19-17, as I mentioned earlier, in a thrilling game that went down to the wire again, trailing by a point with just 4 minutes left. Quarterback Patrick Mahomes led a 14-play, 47-yard drive capped by Matthew Wright's game-winning doink 31-yard field goal as time expired. The victory helped secure the Chiefs' 12th win of the season, clinching that 9th straight AFC West title, maintaining their top seed in the conference, especially after Buffalo losing earlier to the Rams that Sunday. And they got another one coming up against the Detroit Lions, which we'll talk about later on. But Mahomes completed 24 of 37 passes for 210 yards and a touchdown, connecting to D-Hop for a 9-yard score just before halftime. So the Chargers were able to, have some momentum in the game, but you got to give it up for Wharton, who had a sack on Herbert. And then next thing you know, starting at the 40-yard line later on in the game, Mahomes led that crucial drive, converting, that 3rd and 10 to Xavier Worthy, finding Kelsey on a 3rd and 7. And then Wright's kick sealed the deal as he won AFC Special Teams Player of the Week. Congratulations to Matthew Wright. This win marks the Chiefs' 15th straight win in one-score games. And Mahomes extending their NFL record, as this was the 7th close game of the season. The 7th game where we have close games. And Wright is the 3rd kicker to hit a walk-off game winner this year, joining Bucker and Schrader. Speaking of Bucker is going to come back, as he's been limited in the last 2 practices, and we don't know about the last practice today. But once again, the Chiefs have clinched the division title for the 9th straight time, marking this the second longest championship streak in NFL history, trailing behind the Patriots that was led by Bill Belichick. And, the quarterback was Tom Brady with 11 consecutive titles from 2009 to 2019. They had that longer stretch. And speaking of Belichick got the job at UNC. And there were just 3 players on the roster throughout this streak, which began in 2016 since we won those division titles. Kelsey, Chris Jones, and long snapper James Winchester. Those were the only 3 guys from 2016 that started that first championship AFC win streak that are still on this roster. And this achievement highlights the Chiefs' adaptability and sustained success in evolving within the National Football League. And as this leads to us facing the Cleveland Browns this coming Sunday. So, my bro, what are your thoughts about this game this past Sunday and going into this game this coming Sunday?
First and foremost, I know everybody is upset. Or not, I don't want to say upset. Mainly, I would say is disappointment. Because there were expectations at the beginning of the season. Obviously, you sign Hollywood, you draft Xavier Worthy with Rashid stepping up at the end of last season. We thought we were going to get back to 2018. You finally got all the pieces to get back to 2018. So almost anything less than that is going to be a letdown for most people. One of my goals in life is to temper my expectations on a lot of things, which can make me feel like a negative person or make other people think I'm negative. But in reality, it's just me being as realistic as I possibly can. You don't get your hopes up over, like, I feel like people thought this offense was going to rival 2018. And part of me wanted to think that. Along with Chiefs Kingdom. However, I had to slow myself down and be like, look, man, I gotta slow down because that might be too high of a bar to set. I know it's Patrick Mahomes, but he's in a different mindset now than he was in 2018. He's a different person. He had no children. Now he's about to get his third. He wasn't married. He is now. He's different. You have to be different. And
evolution, man. He's evolving as a leader.
You're not saying you're changing. You're evolving. Yes. Andy Reid has evolved too. We just had a game where he ran the ball a bunch of times. Like that. Andy Reid doesn't do that. But things change when you've already won 2 in a row. Now you're going for your third.
Mm-hmm.
Beach has signed a over 30-year-old player. Like, these are things that are characteristically not really done by this organization. But you do when you want to achieve extraordinary things.
Mm-hmm.
You have to do extraordinary things.
Yeah,
that's it. And I'm not trying to be deep. I'm not trying to do anything like that. But what I am saying is that sometimes you got to go outside of your norm to accomplish things that have never been done. So
absolutely.
That's kind of where we're at right now. And we've seen this team go deep into the playoffs over the last 6 years. We've played an extra season worth of games in the postseason. So with that being said, these dudes are tired. Okay. Which means
we had a week 6 bye.
Which means injuries mount up, which means guys are just weary. And so you got to figure out ways to keep people fresh. And that's a new thing.
And win games, which we do. That's what it is.
Precisely. Denver doesn't have to worry about that.
No.
The Chargers don't have to worry about that. The Steelers don't have to worry about that.
Nope.
They haven't been here before. Now, the Bills, a little bit. But they all got they got a brand new team essentially over there. as far as offense is concerned. So we're in a different situation that we've seen before, but not necessarily seen before. It's just kind of the way we roll, and it's difficult to see it, but we find ways to win, and that's what we need to keep doing.
Yeah. And with that, man, it's just the thing. Andy Reid has been doing this for a long time, and he's just very creative, man. He utilizes his personnel exceptionally well and moves the guys around, especially on that offense. You can see the creativity there. Excellent play caller. Every NFL team tries to have like that same communication with their quarterbacks as he has with Mahomes. And, Big Red and Mahomes, they've been doing this for a long time, and it's paying off. So that's just all it is, the evolution of that. So.
Completely agree.
Yeah. Yep. While we were also away, the Chiefs finally made a big move at offensive tackle, left tackle, by signing DJ Humphreys, who is receiving base salary of $2 million. As you guys saw, the 30-year-old started before playing this Sunday. Last Sunday, started 98 games out of 99. He played his 100th game on Sunday against the Chargers, and he did pretty good, but he's dealing with a strained hamstring injury, and I think he's gonna be out this game. But this is one of the reasons why you bring him in, because we've seen Sua Mata'ia, how he's played, and then also Wanye Morris, especially Wanye 2 weeks ago before this last game with DJ Humphreys, and it was just, been ugly for both players, man. And Wanye was making himself look better than Taylor, but then the last 2 weeks before Humphreys got the start last week, it was just hasn't been that type of game, man. So that's why I'm glad that we got the Humphreys move, man. Very skilled pass rusher, very athletic, got the length, the mobility, excels at mirroring defenders and handling stunts, and his tenacity enhances his run blocking. He could still work on securing his opponents, not relying solely on the athleticism. It leads to some of those balancing issues, and of course that durability, as you're seeing, is still a concern going forward. And I would like this move. And what you think so far with Humphreys, but how's everything going with this offensive line?
The offense, we got about a month left of football.
Yeah.
The offense, there's two big issues I see, and it stems from all the offensive line and all the defensive line.
Mainly the tackles.
Mainly the tackles, no doubt. And we weren't able to get sacks. Now we are. We got a Minihue back. His presence is a lot. It poses a lot of. It gives us a lot.
It's opening Jones and Carl Loftus, which I'm loving,
and Turk and all those guys,
and Turk too. Oh, Turk
was a beast this last game. Turk was a beast. But those are our main situations. My thing is, we're good at everywhere. We're good at a lot of places, but with the offensive line being the way it is and the defensive line being the way it was, it doesn't allow for us to be great at those other areas. If you understand what I'm saying, we're not getting sacks the way we should, which means the guys in the back, the cornerbacks and the safeties, aren't able to key off or tee off like they want to, with getting interceptions, with even timed blitzes. They're not as good when the timing's off, and the timing has been off since Minihue's been gone, because there's just a lot of playing time. With the offensive, with the tackles, Pat's been off because he just doesn't. He doesn't trust him, and you can see he doesn't trust him, and he's trying his best to be patient and maneuver his way inside the pocket before taking off at the very last minute. That off balance throw that he did, that was just him, and that Worthy ended up bobbling but ended up catching. That was Worthy. That was a lot of Worthy actually finally realizing he needs to come back to the ball when Pat's in trouble. He's starting to see it. He's getting it. And that's what we need. But Pat had to maneuver his way, snake himself in through the pocket just to figure out how to get the ball to the receivers. So it all starts with those two parts, the defensive line and the offensive line. And I think the defensive line has got the little extra help that it needs. I don't know what we're gonna do with the offensive line.
Yeah,
Like,
I think I think the
be
draft and also the offseason with free agency, we'll look and see like those options, especially at the tackle position.
We're definitely gonna discuss that, but this ain't the time right now. But
Not now,
boy,
not now.
but boy, it's a problem. You
It
get
is.
like it's definitely a problem.
Yeah. Speaking of a Minihu coming back, I do believe a Minihu coming back, and then also this move that we just made too right after the Chargers game is truly going to help out this defense, and I hope it really makes the defense play a whole lot better because the defense is going to have to hold us up, especially if the offensive tackles. I just have a feeling this Sunday going against Myles Garrett in that pass rush of the Browns, bro. Like that, do not sleep on that pass rush because especially. Now you got Wanye Morris going up against Garrett on that. Oh my gosh, man.
Yes, exactly.
And then Jawan Taylor, how the way he's been playing too, and we already know what we're gonna say. I ain't saying nothing else because it's already out there. How we all feel. It's just, hey man, they just gotta do their damn job. That's all I'm just gonna put out there. But I do believe this upcoming move could help out this defense going forward, getting more picks and even producing more sacks because they go hand in hand with each other. So. We brought back Steven Nelson as bringing him to the practice squad. The 9-year veteran played for four NFL teams, returned from retirement to come back to ring chase with us. He started 34 games during his initial 4 seasons with the Chiefs before going to the Pittsburgh Steelers in 2019. He spent 2 seasons there, then spent 1 season in Philly, then followed by 2 seasons in Houston. Earlier this year, he announced his intent to retire after starting 115 games in the NFL, where he recorded 13 interceptions. This signing demonstrates the Chiefs' urgent need to strengthen up the cornerback depth. And the team, lost Watson to a broken ankle in the middle of the season. Johnson replaced him, but had been benched in favor of Joshua Williams. But Williams left the game with a shoulder injury on Sunday night's game against the Chargers. So what's your thoughts about Nelson coming back to the fold?
Originally wasn't a fan of it. Wasn't a fan of it. However, desperate times call for desperate measures, period. And
we both said, let's put aside our differences. I don't care about it.
I mean, it's not like he's our other cornerback that used to get burnt all the time. I can't remember his name.
Orlando Standrick.
Oh, that's not who I was talking about, but geez, boy, don't do that. Don't do that.
Marcus Peters.
Definitely not Marcus Peters.
Not Marcus.
I'm thinking I think we traded him.
Philip Gaines.
Philip Gaines. That's it. That's the guy. Philip No Gaines. Okay. He's no Philip Gaines, but he's definitely. That wasn't on my bingo card. It wasn't on my bingo card. Bringing back Steven Nelson, like desperate times call for desperate measures.
Yeah,
and we definitely need help in that backfield. I feel like I'm gonna say it. I love Justin Reed, but he's I think I'm trying to figure out a good way to say it.
Go ahead, say it.
I don't want to bash the guy because he's still good, but I think we starting to see the step down of the talent being there or even the awareness possibly. And so seeing that and then also not having the elite play that come on. We trade him to the Titans.
Snead.
Seeing the elite play that we don't have on the other side with Snead. Not saying that McDuffie hasn't stepped up because he has, but seeing the stress that all the everything around it has had, defensive line not getting enough pressure or not getting enough sacks to be specific, it puts pressure on everything else. And so we've seen it put pressure on the defensive coverage. And so it's just one of the things we had to do. And hopefully Steven Nelson, I'm not even asking him, again, temper your expectations. Don't come in here expecting him to be Revis Island. Okay. What I expect is just a guy who can cover well, and hopefully that'll be enough to that'll be enough to change the tide and rise all the ships, as the saying it goes.
Yeah.
It's not an earth moving move, but it might be enough. Sometimes we're guilty of overcorrecting just as much as we are guilty of not making a move that should have been made. And this to me feels like a move that needed to be made and not overcorrecting. That's what I'm hoping. So
I'm with you there. People got to remember, man, that Nelson, he's a constant playmaker in the secondary. He could take charge and he's aggressive. He jams receivers and does a great job against the run. I remember one big stat coming out of Oregon State before he was drafted by the Chiefs. He rarely misses tackles. And that's one of the things you got to have in the NFL. And speaking of Reed, you're not saying anything new, man. Reed is very talented. He could hit. He's just not a coverage guy. That's just the thing, man. And I think with Nelson, he provides that we're missing from Snead, like that little bit as you're talking about. You know, he could regularly break up passes, and he causes drops for opposing receivers, which we're looking for, especially for an opportunity to try to get a pick out of nowhere. You know, he would even clean up some of his own teammates' mistakes. You know, he's feisty, he's physical, he's strong for a guy his size, like 5'11", 195. And I'm glad the Chiefs will be looking to play him this Sunday opposite McDuffie. So I can't wait to see that.
Yeah, it's time to like this is here's where our real season comes in. Or this is our preseason right here, is these last 4 games.
Yeah.
All that leading up to it has been just practice. This is the preseason, postseason is the regular season, Super Bowl, hopefully, is the season. Period.
Mm-hmm.
Period. Anything less would, as the commercial says, anything less would be uncivilized.
Yeah.
So
anyway, we're going to move on to our next segment, one of my also favorite segments, my 3 standouts from this past Sunday's performance against the Chargers. So as the Chiefs secured their 9th consecutive AFC West crown, 3 players particularly impressed me with their standout performances. They played a vital role in the team's thrilling win against the Chargers. While there's no I in team or standouts, these players and the crucial plays they made were instrumental in the team's strong performance. So here are the 3 players who are, in my opinion, were instrumental in the Chiefs' victory over the Chargers. We're going to start with the guy I haven't had on this list, and that's D-Hop, man. In the last minute of the first half, D-Hop secured a 9-yard touchdown catch, his 4th since joining the Chiefs in late October. The 32-year-old wide receiver has recorded 30 catches, 357 yards, and 4 touchdowns over the 7 games with the Chiefs. He has actually over 500 yards total playing with the Chiefs and the Titans. So that's pretty good, and he ain't done yet. So in Week 8, during his 2nd game of the season, D-Hop delivered an impressive performance, catching 8 of his 9 targets for 86 yards and 2 touchdowns in an overtime victory. And as a matter of fact, I think I had D-Hop as one of my standouts in that game too, because he caught those 2. But as injuries affect the receiving core, D-Hop will still become an even more crucial asset as the season progresses and could play a sufficient role in the AFC playoff race.
With the D-Hop thing, I see more than just him being able to catch whatever comes his way. He's also drawing penalties. Like
he is drawing penalties. He's playing chess, bro.
That's the thing. And he saw there was a play, I want to say, I felt as though he could have caught that ball and added the defensive pass interference onto it, but it was pretty close. So I didn't blame him for not catching the ball, but I felt like he kind of could have. But either way, we were able to get the yards out of the play, and that's what you want. If you can't If you can't make the play, have them make an early play, and then you can get the penalty. That's not something that comes with youth, and that's just veteran savvy. So
Yeah.
shout out to D-Hop for seeing that and realizing it.
Absolutely, man. And, I think D-Hop will be back next season, man. His skill set has stood the test of time, and he makes those catches effectively. Even with those drops, he can still make those catches. And I think if you bring him back next year, he will continue to play a key role in this offense, man. I just imagine him and Rashee Rice and Hollywood and Worthy back next season. Oh, my gosh.
You got your pretty much, you have your receiving core there. And then maybe you draft. I would say it's early to talk about draft a little bit, but
it
you
is.
draft one more at maybe a third round talent who needs a little bit of development, early or late second round, needs a little bit of development, but not crazy off. And I'm gonna give you a last season or this past draft example, Jalen Polk.
Yeah, man.
He wasn't a finished product. However, it's taken him it's taken him this long to come up to the fold and learn things. So that would be somebody similar who I would pick to draft in like the late second, early third, or somewhere in the third round. Just somebody like that.
Yeah, I'm with you there, man. So, hey. But anyway, let's hope that we can continue that success and hopefully bring some of those guys back. Yeah, so with number 2, you mentioned him earlier in the News to Me segment, and that's Tershawn Wharton, bro. Recorded 2 sacks on Sunday night, marking a career high in a single game for himself. His second sack was particularly pivotal in the game. The Chargers were down by 2 points, faced the 2nd and 9 at the Chiefs 17-yard line, and with just over 6 minutes left, that's when Wharton tackled Justin Herbert, resulting in a 7-yard sack loss. And this season, he's recorded a career high 4.5 sacks with 22 total tackles, 14 solo, and he's also had 2 pass breakups and a forced fumble. So this sack compelled the Chargers to attempt a go-ahead field goal instead of scoring a touchdown 2 plays later, altering their potential deficit from 1 point to at least 4. A touchdown for the Chargers would have pressured the Chiefs to score a touchdown to win the game, but instead, Wharton's sack was the one that really captivated and allowed Matthew Wright to secure the game-winning field goal by the doink. So,
Turk, this is one thing Veach does well. He identifies the talent, and I don't know if these guys are rising up to the occasion or Veach just was able to secure these guys for a long-term deal, as it were. Guys like come on. Turk has had a good season this year, one of his best. And we signed him at the beginning of the offseason this past year. Am I correct on that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then there's another guy, tight end. Come on. Names always escape me, but the tight end that the Chiefs signed, who is having a career year.
Oh, Noah Gray.
Noah Gray.
Yeah.
He got signed at the beginning of this or earlier before the season. So I don't know if it's Veach realizing that they're going to make a difference and then signing them on the back end or what. I don't know. But those guys who he has given extensions to have really stepped up. Turk being the one that we're discussing. And like you said, he was the reason that the offense only had to get into field goal range. He was the reason. And look, I have nothing bad to say about it. Like Turk gets it done. Turk gets it done.
I'm not gonna lie. On the first 2 episodes, I was not a Turk fan, and I got to be the first to admit it. I mean, the talent was there. I already knew he had the talent. It's just that I didn't see that consistency that I'm seeing now. And now as I'm seeing it, I'm very happy for him. And he's really that guy next to Chris that we need to see. And now with a mini Hugh back, these guys click and they play off of each other. And that's all credit to Joe Cullen getting those guys. You got to give Joe Cullen the credit for helping Wharton. And that's one of the things that I'm so happy about too, about why we have Joe Cullen. They're the best defensive line coach in the NFL, man. Despite people like, we're not getting the sacks. I mean, dude, it's all on Spags really to come up with the sacks and how the game plan should go, man. And these guys are doing good. Wharton is doing a great job showing he's an excellent pass rusher. He hits hard. He's physical. He's relentless. He has all the moves. He's strong, has a great spin move. He could stab. He could power. He has the speed to power, power to rip. He could walk a guy back into your lap. He could do it all, man.
Absolutely. Listen, man. Sacks are great and everything, but looking at it from this aspect, the Jets are 2 in sacks. All right. The Giants are 6th in sacks. The Raiders are 9th in sacks.
Yeah.
Those are all no playoff teams. Those aren't playoff teams right now.
Right.
Those aren't playoff teams. And it's great. This all comes from statmuse.com. We got to understand that sacks are nice, but sacks don't equal wins. And so we're figuring out how to do things the way that they need to be done in an effort to get the job done. And yes, I would like sacks. Don't make it seem like I don't want sacks. I absolutely do.
Right. I do too. And picks.
And to be honest, sacks would probably help the cornerbacks a little bit better. And help the safeties more, help the linebackers more. However, some years you're not going to be able to do that. We were able to do that 2018, and they still were a bad defense. This is not a bad defense. This is just a more full defense because we're not relying on just sacks. We're not relying on merely interceptions. We're trying to be all-encompassing, as it were. So, yeah, calm down on the not having the sack thing. Hopefully we'll get there. And if we don't, but even if we don't, the defense has not lost us a game.
They have not. But
they've kept us in games, and they're not as great as we want them to be, but they have not lost us a game. 2018, they lost us games. It was some of the most frustrating stuff ever. However, this defense has not lost us a game. So they've actually kept us in game when the offense is not doing what it's supposed to do. So perspective.
Yes, sir. So that leads me to my last and final player who was a true standout on Sunday. And this is my guy that I have talked about over the last 2 seasons. I'm excited about his progression as basically one of the faces on the Chiefs defense, not named Chris Jones, none other than Trent McDuffie. The all-pro cornerback from Washington resembled the standout we witnessed over the past 3 seasons. In fact, McDuffie mirrored the player who compelled the Chiefs to draft him in the first round, primarily playing left cornerback. Justin Herbert decided to target McDuffie 6 times, but McDuffie only allowed just 2 catches for 25 yards, resulting in a passer rating of 47.2 allowed. Herbert right now should realize that targeting McDuffie is never a good idea, especially without Keenan Allen and Mike Williams available to throw to.
Here's the thing about Trent. Amazing talent. Dude's great. But he's not taking the ball away. And that's why guys like Justin Herbert are willing to throw his way.
Right.
It's not to say that they're challenging greatness. It's not nothing like that. But knocking a ball down doesn't feel as dramatic as taking the ball away. If you understand what I'm saying. So that's why you see them target him more. If he was intercepting the ball all the time,
or better yet, if he had more than 30-inch arms. He only has 29 and 3/4 inch arms, almost close to 30, but that's not the type of arms that you want for a cornerback. But he has everything else. Like, he even has the ability to try to get an interception. It's just that one knack on him. Other than that, he's a dog. I love the player.
He absolutely is a dog. And I'm sure quarterbacks understand that he doesn't go for interceptions. And guys that go for interceptions scare quarterbacks because that is a stat you can see. Jameis is known for 30 for 30, okay? And you don't want that to happen to you. So McDuffie is just going to bat the ball down. I do think that's something he needs to work on because I don't want him to change who he is, but I do think that's something he needs to work on because it instills fear in a quarterback, or it at least makes him think twice about throwing your way. But I have no knocks against if McDuffie doesn't do anything else, and if he doesn't learn how to intercept the ball, if he never intercepts a pass in his career, I'll be fine as long as he keeps progressing and doing his thing because the dude's a beast. Period.
Exactly. Sorry, Quentin, but I understand what you said about last night. If McDuffie don't get a pick, then he's never going to get a pick. I don't believe that. I mean, the NFL, anything could happen, man. Shoot, he might not get a pick this year, but don't be surprised if he does next year. I mean, there's a guy named – they're still from the Chargers. Right. So they're still from the Chargers. He has the same length of arms as McDuffie, like 29-inch, 3/4, but he has like 4 or 5 interceptions this year, leading all rookies. So I think there's two things you got to consider there. Either, as you said, that's not McDuffie's game, and that's not his style, or that's not right now. Or maybe Spags is like, we're not about getting picks. It's about coming up with concepts and plays, playing chess. No matter whatever it results in, either a sack or a pick, we're just playing great defense. That could be it too. Just like, why aren't the Chiefs playing like the 2018 offense? Maybe because Andy Reid is putting us through this scenario to get us ready for the playoffs. Because knowing every team, either whether they're great or they're bad or just good, they're going to give us our best. And, after watching McDuffie, man, I got to acknowledge Williams and Johnson for consistently contributing to the cornerback by committee. It's been practical. We still haven't generated many interceptions, but I do think Nelson's signing will increase our chances of getting picks and even is going to encourage Veach to select a cornerback with a similar skill set like Nelson. Nelson combined with Watson's ability in next season's draft.
Exactly. Precisely. And I do believe that we do need to find ourselves a ball hawk. I've always thought that. Maybe that means finding a guy with length like Kool-Aid McKinstry, who the guys talked about last night. Who was he with? The Bucks?
Kool-Aid? No, Kool-Aid's with the Saints.
With the Saints, yes, you're correct. Maybe it's finding a guy with length like that. I don't know, but you need to find a ball hawk that might even force those balls. That where he's so good, where it forces the guy to throw a different way, and then you already got your guy in Trent McDuffie who's going to take care of his job. I don't know, but this offseason, that's what I plan to identify as a cornerback or safety who can cover ground and who can take the ball away. That's what I'm looking for and hit. Now that's a tall order, but I'm willing to look for it.
Right. Well, as we close out the show, we're going to do a final segment. It's not like our 3 things the Chiefs have to do to win, or when Brad joins the show, what he thinks. So while we were away, I discovered, betting like everybody else has been betting, So I've been doing FanDuel and DraftKings, and I've actually won a total of $100+ in parlay picks. Because, people have told me, like, Philip, you're so good at picking these things that are going to happen, whether it's a game or, like, the Monday night game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I actually said, looking at the rain and how everything was going to be played out, I thought the Chiefs would win by 6 or 7 points, and that D-Hop out of nowhere was going to score 2 touchdowns. And in fact, that's what actually happened. So I thought it would be a fun idea to wrap the show up with 3 parlay picks that I kind of feel confident in. And with these picks, you guys could, have fun with them, pick them, or you guys don't have to. And, you're welcome to include them in your parlay pick if you want. So originally, yesterday, I had, as I sent you this information and everything else like that, I thought I had the Chiefs money line too easy. But this could be a trap game for us. I really think this is a trap game. There are people out there that's putting their money on the Browns. I don't know why, but they're basically saying don't be surprised if Jameis. And I wouldn't be surprised because they're not going to have David Njoku in this game. But then you look at Jordan Atkins. Like, we still need to do something about going against opposing tight ends, which we're not really doing good at, man. So whatever you guys want to do with that first one, I mean, I still am going to go with my team. But, I mean, you guys don't have to do that. But if there's an easy prop out there for you, I would say the first one would be Jordan Atkins touchdown. I think Jordan Atkins will score a touchdown. Originally, I had Njoku, but Njoku is going to be out. So Jordan Atkins, his replacement, I think he'll probably score. I don't know who is it going to be against. I hope it's not a mismatch, especially against Shamari Connor or let's say one of our corners or somebody like that.
It'll be Justin Reed.
Justin, yeah, it'll be Justin. Oh boy,
either Justin Reed or it's going to be like a linebacker like Nick Bolton because that's who most of those touchdowns have been against. Like the likely touchdown that almost won the game was against Nick Bolton, but that was in the red zone, so it is what it is on that. But the longer ones have been on more Justin Reed.
Yeah,
like,
man. Yeah. But I'll say this.
It feels like I'm hating on Justin Reed. I'm not.
No, I'm not. We're not hating. It's just what it is, man.
Making an observation.
We're just keeping it real, bro. No, you keeping it real. Like, we can't help it when we keep it real. And it's just me being honest about what's going on, man. It's all as a way of saying this offense needs to perform better. Like, if people really need to see the Chiefs, like how they've been playing, like how we used to see them playing, they're going to have to just simply step it up. I mean, I'll put it like this. Let's say if we do lose this game, it's still not over. We still got a chance, especially after the Bills lost to the Rams. And then they're going against the Lions tomorrow. And I got one, so that'll be my second one right here. If y'all going to watch the Bills and Lions, bet Jahmyr Gibbs anytime touchdown. I think Gibbs will have definitely going to have a big game this coming Sunday against the Bills. I mean, the Lions, if the Bills lose that one, the AFC picture is still ours. And now let's say we do lose this game. It's not over. We just got to win out after that. And like I said on the show, even if we lose one game, we still have a good shot. Buffalo, I mentioned this. And I say this, the 49ers, they won that game. But there's the Rams. They lost that one. And then there's the Lions. I mentioned those 3 games. For us here, we just got to just play better and everything else like that. So that's my 2. And then my third and final. Yeah, my third and final one, this is a too easy one. I chose this one, and it actually hit very well for me. Mahomes throws 1 touchdown pass and the alternate 1 touchdown pass because we don't know what the score is going to be. We don't know if Mahomes is going to throw 1 touchdown pass or if he's not, or if he's going to throw 2. But I'll take the safe bet with Mahomes throwing just 1 touchdown pass.
Safe bet. Okay.
Safe bet. Yeah. So those are my 3. Atkins touchdown, anytime touchdown, because of course the Chiefs are going against tight ends and there's no David Njoku. Originally, I had David Njoku. Then number 2, if you guys watch the Bills and Lions game, watch Jahmyr Gibbs anytime touchdown, and then Mahomes throws 1 touchdown pass.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, those are PMAX parlay picks.
Yes.
Triple P's. So I'll come up with something for that segment, but that's gonna be a normal thing for this show during this for the rest of the season and the postseason. So, and that brings us to the end of our show. Thank you all for joining us on the War Room with PMAC. We appreciate you, and we know that we've been gone, but we're back now, so that's all that matters. And shout out to you, PMAC. Anything left? Anything you want to say to close us out?
Man, this is also part of like why I didn't choose the Chiefs money line here, because while we were doing the show, my game was playing by itself, the Madden game, Madden 25. You don't want to know what the score is. Browns 30, Chiefs 21.
Okay.
And you know why? Because you got Wanye Morris playing left tackle going against Myles Garrett, and they showed all game Mahomes being pressured and Jawan. So, guys, please step this up. Please don't let what the Madden game said on here actually happen. Let's win this game, man. Let's take it all. Let's win it. Let's three-peat. I mean, even if we do lose, we just got to win out, and let's hope Buffalo loses to the Lions on Sunday. That's all I got to say there. So, Chiefs Kingdom, happy Red Friday. Enjoy it. And thank you for letting me at this come and entertain you guys for over these last 45 minutes. So, thank you.
All right. That ends our show. And that's PMAC. I'm you. And for Chiefs Focus, we're out.